All right, what's going, guys? So today is Wednesday, right? Yeah, Wednesday. And let's go through some of the news that actually happened last night first. Okay, so first of all, if you have not noticed, all the meme stocks are starting to move. Okay, be it your GME, the ANC, your Bed Bath and Beyond, the CAS, the Tilray, the Sundial, the ACBs, the CENN, the Express, the BlackBerry, all of them are up. Okay, with GameStop up about 12% in the pre-market yesterday, up about 30% intraday. For AMC, they were up about 15% intraday, going up 6% in the after hours, well, pre-market right now. And of course, all of them are kind of just going up and up and up. Okay, yesterday I did a little bit of a scalping play where I actually sold AMC at about, I think, $18.90. And then I bought back in at about $18.04, I think. I just wanted to do like a very, very quick scalp trade. That gave me, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't a lot, but it was just like easy lunch money for me, I guess. I think I got back, I think, like about $90 or so. So I'm not gonna complain about $90, man. $90 is good money for me. All right. Of course, I don't think there's a lot that was actually happening yesterday, other than the fact that we had a lot of meme stock moving. Of course, the crypto market is also doing relatively well. Of course, for Bitcoin, it actually went all the way to 43,000, and afterwards, we start to see a little bit of retracement happening for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ethereum is starting to really like to take the $3,000 level as the bouncing off resistance that we have been seeing for the past few weeks. Of course, with Polkadot, Cardano is the one that has actually been doing really, really well in the past week or so. Cardano actually tried to recover all the way up to $1 again. Right now, it's at about 98 cents or so. So something for us to really look into as well. Ethereum Classic, something that I personally am invested in as well. Has been doing quite well, surprisingly. Like for Ethereum Classic, it was actually sitting around, I think, about $30. So right now it's about $47. Of course, historically speaking, Ethereum Classic, they reached all the way up to, I think, about $100 or so. So of course, right now we are in a bear market for cryptocurrency, and of course for the stocks market, we're starting to see some kind of bottom finding itself. But like I said before, okay, I do have a video that I uploaded last week on Saturday where I kind of just explained to you guys, I don't think that the bottom is exactly here yet. Okay, in summary, I don't think the bottom is here because there are still some issues that we have yet to really iron out, especially with this whole Russian-Ukraine situation. I don't think there's a lot of news about it today, so I'll probably just keep it for Monday, I guess. Let's see. For Terra Luna doing $93 right now. Decentraland doing $245. All right, so those are kind of just the price update for some of the stocks and crypto and such. But anyway, without further ado, let's cover some news today. All right, so let's get to this. High gasoline prices have consumers thinking electric. All right, actually, before I actually show you guys this, let's go to this one. Elon Musk, Tesla's first German-made Model Y rollout has Musk dancing again. All right, so for people who do not know about this thing, yesterday, Giga Berlin actually had their first Model Y rolling out, aka the first vehicle Giga Berlin came out with. So currently, we have Giga Nevada, we have Giga Berlin, Giga Shanghai, and also Giga Texas. I'm not sure if Texas is up. Yeah, but we should have 4 Giga factories, and afterwards you have your Fremont, you got your Lathrop, and all those other smaller Tesla factories. I think right now we should have about, I think, 10 factories, including no, it should be 12 factories, including the 4 Giga factories that we do have. So of course, this is great for Tesla, okay? And the thing is that someone actually, I think Bloomberg actually said that it was a very, very coincidental thing that Tesla actually came out with their Giga Berlin, which is aka in Europe, during this whole Russia-Ukraine situation. It makes a lot of sense because right now, this is also the period of time where people start to think, you know what? We should probably go electric. And that comes into The segue for this article: high gasoline prices have consumer thinking electric. And it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, oil prices are topping $100 a barrel again. Okay, consumer interest in electric vehicles and other clean energy technology is speeding up. Okay, of course, I do want to tell you guys first, it's true that gasoline prices is going up and people would most likely want to be looking for other sources of be your vehicles and also cleaner energy for like different technologies and such. But do take into consideration that, of course, all this might be the case, but for them to actually change to have this form of a transition from fossil fuel vehicle over to EV, this transition is going to take some time. Of course, it's going to take a lot of money, especially for the infrastructure for it. Because let's be honest here, okay, for electric vehicle, the biggest issue with electric vehicle right now is the charging infrastructure, which a lot of countries right now are really starting to do so, but it's still not going to be able to support a huge overhaul or a huge transition over to electric vehicles for now. Of course, right now, I think a lot of countries will definitely be investing more money into creating more charging infrastructure in order for them to actually have a more smoother transition over to having a more electrifying of the whole entire country and such. Which I do think that Singapore is also trying to do something along that line as well. Of course, with US, I think that they have already kind of outdone themselves. They are actually one of the leading ones. And of course, with China as well, I think China is easily one of the best countries we in terms of like EV, because with their BYD and also Tesla being one of their leading EV brands in China as well. So that's pretty cool. All right, anyway, gasoline prices hit a nationwide average record of $4.33 on March 11, about $1.35 higher than what they were a year ago, according to AAA. Every dollar of a higher gasoline price adds about $50 increase in household monthly expenses, according to Northern Trust. All right, so for people who think that $4.33 for a gallon of gas is expensive, let me tell you, okay, in Singapore, the gas that I buy is from SPC, okay, and it's supposed to be the cheapest gas in Singapore, okay, especially after all the rebates and such and whatnot, okay. I calculated it for the 4 times that I actually got gas in the past month. It was about $14 per gallon, and after, of course, after the whole discounted rate, rebates, credit card, whatever it is, gasoline prices in Singapore down to per gallon. We're actually looking at somewhere about like $9, $8 to $9 or so. Of course, this is with all the varying oil prices and such. We are paying about $8 to $9 per gallon, whereas in the US they are paying about $4 a gallon. So of course, you know, if you want to take into consideration that $4 is also in USD, and then for Singapore it's about $8 to $9 SGD. But even then, if we were to do the comparison for it, they are paying about $6 per gallon ish. So of course, I think that it simply means that okay, well, I think Missouri have the cheapest oil, and then California and I think California. Over on the LA side of things, they have the most expensive oil, so they are getting about like $6 to $7 per gallon, which is around the same price as what we are getting right now, basically, because I'm pretty sure that they have rebates and such happening for their side as well. So yeah, you know, if you just an interesting fact for you guys, if if you're from Singapore and you're watching this video and you wanted to know what are the prices of oil in Singapore, it's ludicrous. So all right, so that is more consumer looking for an alternative to the gas chargers that make up most US sales. But yeah, okay, honestly speaking, this is just talking about how it makes sense for them to actually get an electric changing over to an electric vehicle, which, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of. I just think that in Singapore, the charging infrastructure is just insufficient for us to really do a proper transition over to an EV. I'm gonna be all in for an EV. Honestly speaking, we have enough charging infrastructure. I'm all for it. All right, almost 19 years after its founding, Tesla has a car factory network that spans the globe. So on yesterday, handing over the first 30 Model Ys to customers in front of German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. skulls. The CEO Elon Musk himself followed through on his promise to dance, as he did when Tesla opened its Shanghai factory 2 years ago. I'm just gonna watch it again because I just thought that it was kind of entertaining. Yeah, to think that the richest man on earth just dance like that. But hey, I'm happy for him. I do think that Tesla is doing a lot for the world. As much as people are hounding on Elon Musk or hounding on Tesla, talking about how capitalist ideology isn't going to be working out in the long run. But whatever it is, I do think that the EV market is very, very interesting right now. Of course, like I did say it, I think about a few weeks back, especially during the first oil increment, I did talk about how the chances of people actually jumping over to EV immediately isn't as high, simply because oil prices, for example, oil prices might go up, but the thing is that oil prices staying up all the way at phenomenal level is not going to be something that's going to be a normal, like a very casual norm. I do see oil prices actually coming back down. Of course, I do not think that oil prices is going to immediately go back down to the $80 level for the WTI crude. However, I do think that it is very, very possible for us to really see WTI kind of stabilizing about $90 or so. I do think that $90 is a very, very comfortable level for that to happen. Of course, this is on contingent that the whole Russia situation is gonna be settled, okay, and of course where Russia oil is not gonna get shunned on or being boycotted, because we do need Russia's oil as much as we do not like Russia. And this is gonna segue just nice into the next article that I want to talk about, which is India. So India's rupee to ruble trade arrangement with Russia may be ready in a week, says export body chief. All right, so for people who do not know, I think India has always been very, very neutral about this whole situation. They have not been really throwing out any sort of sanctions or anything against Russia during this whole invasion or this war scenario at the moment. But it's very, very smart for India to actually start to create this mechanism, according to this article, create this mechanism with the rupee to ruble trade system. And at the same time, let's not forget, because India, doing this whole entire thing, it might be pissing off the Western countries a little bit, inclusive of of course, the US, and of course, with the UK and the EU. The EU country, I don't think that they are going to be very, very happy about what India is doing over here. But I'm not going to lie, I do think that India is still going to be a country with formidable, I don't want to call it like military or whatever it is. I do think that India is still a great country. So something to really be worry about. This is now getting into a very, very political sphere of things, because let's be honest here, with what India is trying to do over here, because for this mechanism with the whole rupee to ruble trade, they are of course taking advantage of the current low ruble prices, the ruble prices, in order for them to actually do an uptake for their rupee prices as well. I do think that it's a very smart move for them to do so. However, in terms of the political sphere of things, I would say it's debatable, especially with the current issues with the Western countries. I'm not sure if India would want to be stirring that pot so soon. All right, but anyway, let's get into this just a little bit for us to really understand. So this so-called rupee ruble trade mechanism could come as early as next week. Okay. So export to Russia is not much, only in agriculture and pharmacy products. Now that the whole of the West is banning Russia, there'll be a lot of opportunities for Indian firms to enter Russia. Like I said before, it's very, very smart. Okay, a lot of people bring up the whole ethical question, especially for the oil side of things. How US is banning Russian crude, how UK is banning Russian crude, and now even EU is stepping up to thinking about banning Russian crude as well. Of course, for people who are so-called banning Russian crude, you have to think about it from a different point of view as well. Because as much as you would think that, like Russian crude, by using Russian crude or using Russian oil is being very unethical, it's basically using blood oil and whatever it is. there are going to be countries who don't give a thing about using other people's oil, especially blood oil or Russian crude. They wouldn't care. Why? Because it's cheap. It's easily attainable. It's cheap. Okay? It's as simple as that. It makes a lot of sense for people to just be like, I should just get Russian crude. Honestly speaking, okay, I don't want to be, kind of like hypocritical or anything, but if I'm given a choice and if I'm at the gas station and if the assistant basically gave me like a fourth choice, because usually you get your oil in your 95, in your 98, and a diesel. And then if they give me like a fourth choice and they would just straight up ask me, do you want the Russian oil? It's going to be 20% cheaper. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be very, 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 very tempted. And if they're not going to be announcing it out, like, all right, station number 4 paid for Russian crude, I might just do it. Okay? Because at the end of the day, although I'm just using Russian oil, I don't feel unethical to the point of me using their oil. Okay? As much as US thinks so, as much as UK thinks so, as much as a lot of European countries think so, we still need oil. Yeah. I don't know how to explain this further. I'm not gonna. I don't want to be hypocritical either. I don't want to be on the social justice side of thing where I say that I need to be ethical about a lot of things. But chances are, when prices come into it, I'm gonna do that. So yeah. Provoking the West, like I said earlier, I don't think that is a very, very smart move for them to be provoking the West, especially with the amount of sanctions that's being placed on Russia at the moment. Doing this entire mechanism or buying or trading of oil might be something that we would actually have to take into consideration as well. Because India and Russia I think they used to be having like close relationship. I think for quite some time now. So I do think that, of course, because India do deal with Russia for their weaponry. I believe they deal with their weaponries and such. Even for their military equipments and such, they're all being sourced from either the Soviet Union or around the countries around the Soviet Union and such. So I do think that India is not going to be. I don't call names or anything, but I don't think India is going to be stupid enough to actually go against Russia either. But I don't think that India is stupid enough to actually go against the West either. So I do think that India is actually very, very smartly and strategically positioned at the moment. But India might actually get the lower end, the shorter end of the stick if they actually screw up in terms of the negotiation with Russia or the negotiation with the US in the future. I'm not sure if they're even going to be doing any form of negotiation in the future. So yeah. All right. Let's see. Do we have anything else? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's about the whole giga billion talk and oil talk. All right, U.S. stock futures edge lower, bond yield stabilized. Oh, okay. I do want to talk about this because earlier I saw on CNBC. All right, mortgage refinance demand plunges 14% as interest rates spike higher. All right, so basically, when we had our interest rates as low as 0%, people are going to be refinancing as soon as they can every single time. Because it is at 0%, it's literally free money. Okay, and people will definitely want to jump on the bandwagon for them to quickly refinance their mortgage rate. But of course, right now the demand for mortgage rate is going to be plunging, and apparently, due to this CNBC article, is down 14%. And for it to be down 14%, you have to also take into consideration because right now we have Jerome Powell on one end saying that he's going to be pulling the whole 25 basis point increment in the near future. And of course, we also have Jerome Powell on the NABE conference saying that, nothing's going to stop him from doing a 50 basis point increment. And like I said before, I don't think that this 50 basis point increment is going to be too scary or anything. I do think that it is only possible and is only needed for them to actually do so. So If it comes down to it, I do think that it's very, very fair for this whole situation to be coming about. I do think that the mortgage refinance demand plunging 14% is actually surprisingly a good thing. Okay, because let's be honest here, we do need some form of a demand and supply and demand on houses itself. Right now, I think in US, the real estate prices over there is just continuously going up and up and up. Okay, people are just basically tearing down houses and rebuilding their houses every chance they get. Okay, and doing that is because people are constantly transacting on new houses. They're selling their old house and they're buying a new house. They're doing their 1030, they're doing their 1033s or 1031s, so that they can just upgrade to a new house without paying taxes. And it just makes sense for people to keep on doing that, especially when the mortgage rate was near zero. It makes a lot of sense. But right now, we are going to be on our way upwards. Okay, so over at this CNBC article, the average contract interest rate for 30-year fixed rate mortgage with conforming loan balances increased to 4.5%. It increased to 4.5%. Purchase a home fell 2% for the week and 12% lower than the same 1 week ago. All right, if I'm not mistaken, we should be having the US new home sales later on at 10 p.m. So that's going to be interesting for us to really look into as well. It will be interesting for me to look into. A sharp increase in mortgage interest rate is taking its toll on loan demand, especially refinances. The volume fell 8.1% last week compared to the previous week, according to Mortgage Bankers Association, a seasonally adjusted index. Fell 2% for the week, 12% lower than the same week 1 year ago. Of course, 1 year ago, that was when pandemic we had the whole Delta fear situation. I think that was when the Delta fear was at its peak. So yeah, first-time home buyer who rely on these government programs are increasingly challenged by both the rapid increase in home prices and higher mortgage rates. I'm not gonna lie, okay, in Singapore, that's like we're used to that. Okay, house prices are high, mortgage rates are high, and that's kind of how it is in Singapore. So I don't think, for people who are watching this news at the moment, I don't think that you guys will really care much about it, simply because this is, this is just very normal to us in Singapore as well. But yeah. All right, let's move on to earlier when I actually saw this, which is bond yield stabilized. Okay, so the reason why we have to talk about bond yield stabilizing is over on this. Boom. Yes, this is now the worst drawdown on record for global fixed income. All right, so this headlines basically means that bond market is actually doing at its worst since 2008. According to this. All right, so for us to really look into the bond market, let's just take a look at the Federal Reserve 10-year Treasury notes. Right now, we're all the way at 2.3%, okay? The higher the 10-year Treasury yield is, the higher the percentage for the yield. It simply means that the less people are actually in the bond market. Okay, and the more people who actually flock over to the bond market, the lower the yield rate is going to be. Okay, and this simply means that no one is trying to be in the bond market. Why? Go back to the start of the video when I'm telling you meme stocks are going up, your normal stocks are going up, your tech stocks are going up, your blue chips are going up, your bank stocks are going up, your cryptos are going up. We're slowly getting out of a bear cycle right now. And the moment you start to kind of shift out from a bear cycle, it means that people are starting to plow cash back into the stocks market and also other derivatives or equities, whatever it is. But the situation is, if I'm going to be getting into those equities, futures, derivatives, or whatever it is, I need money. Okay? And this money are on the bond market. Okay? And they're now taking their money out from the bond market, getting into those riskier assets. I mean, let's be honest. Seeing GameStop go up 30% kind of brings back a little bit of the 2021 January feels, if you feel me. So, of course, I think that it is going to be quite interesting for us to really see what's going to be happening for the bond yield. Hopefully, the bond yield actually stabilizes properly, because right now, if we are at 2.37 and this is going to be a stabilizing rate for it, I do fear that the bond market is going to crash very, very hard in the near future. So of course, they over here they are actually comparing to the 10.8% drawdown during the financial crisis in 2008. Right now, we are actually fallen 11% from a high in January of 2021. So yeah, of course, this is only talking about fixed income, the fixed income bonds and such. Of course, not a lot of people are very, very interested in this, especially for my audiences. I don't think that you guys are really into this, the bond market and such. But okay, but anyway, over here, we'll just kind of just look at the whole futures and such, which I don't think the futures are going to be playing a huge part. Right now, SPY is down about 0.3% in the pre-market. Of course, yesterday it went up all the way to went all the way up by 1.17%, which is pretty good in the intraday. Of course, having a little bit of recalibration downwards, which is also very, very good for the stocks market. Like I always said, having constantly going up and up and up and up is not always a good thing. It's also good for us to actually have a little bit of a drawdown, simply for the stock to have a little bit of time to breathe, for more investors to actually get in. Because if you keep on going up, it simply means that the selling pressure will always be higher. The higher the stocks go, the selling pressure will always get higher and higher. But of course, at this time, not financial advice, okay? I'm not a financial advisor. Don't listen to what I say. I do think that getting into the ETF would really make a lot of sense, because right now the ETF is already kind of stabilizing at a very, very good rate. And, if we are hoping to see some form of a recovery in the market, it's going to be quite interesting, because the ETF are all definitely going to be continuously going up, especially your indexes, be your QQQs and your SPYs and such. All those are the ones that I'll be actually looking forward to looking at in the near future as well. But yeah, all right. Now, let's look at a few more news before we actually end today. NATO nations' faith in U.S. leadership saw Biden bump polls. Confidence in U.S. rose most in UK, Germany, Norway, and Canada. Of course, it's very nice for them to actually see that Biden is trying to do something for this entire NATO situation. And I always say, okay, as much as I like to bag on Biden a lot, because personally, I'm not really a big fan of Biden, but I do have to give him props, because he is the first leader to sit in the office for three huge situations. One being the pandemic, of course. The second one being the whole getting off Afghanistan situation. And of course, the third is a war between Russia and Ukraine, something that has already been talked about all the way since Obama time, and I think even George Bush timing. So those are some of the things that I do think Biden is doing quite well, surprisingly. Okay, he has not really do a very big doo-doo in the current office. As much as I do not like him, I do want to commend him for the amount of efforts that him and his administration has been putting into running the country. So yeah, polling from more than 24 NATO nations showed nearly all saw an increase in approval rates in 2021 as compared to 2020, when asked about perception of a U.S. leadership abroad. Of course, these are all the polls talking about the countries who are mainly UK, Germany, Norway, Canada. I'm not sure about US themselves. I'm pretty sure the US themselves are not going to be very, very happy, because for them, basically Biden came in into office, and then inflation just shot up all the way to like 8%. So I don't think that the US, the US citizens might not be liking Biden that much. But yeah. I mean, that's kind of how it is for politics. So you know how it is. All right. I'm just going to do two more before we actually end it all. A quick one, actually. Ryan Cohen scoops up 100,000 more shares of GameStop. The meme stock soars as much as 20% after hours. So he bought another 100,000 shares, but I'm not sure at what pricing. But he increased his ownership now at about 11.9%. He's currently the CEO. He's currently the chairman of GameStop. So yeah. That's basically it, actually. Cohen purchased this shares through his okay, never mind. He bought it at about $96 to $108. So yeah, now he owned 9.1 million GameStop shares. Pretty cool. Yeah, that's about it, actually, for this Ryan Cohen news. And then finally, the last news, which is the black box found from the Boeing passenger jet that crashed in China, state media says. I have not actually read this. So one of the two black boxes containing data from Monday's China Eastern Airlines plane crash has been found. The black box are technical equipments on airplanes that could reveal reasons for the crash. The box was found heavily damaged, noting that it was not immediately clear whether it was the one recorded flight data or cockpit communication with air traffic controllers. Do they have anything other than finding the black box? Okay, Xi Jinping ordered top officials to investigate the matter, participate in the probe. Okay, well, they didn't say anything important other than the fact that they actually found the black box. So, of course, same thing. As always, I am going to be keeping you guys up to date on all this sort of information. So, thank you guys so much for watching. And, of course, follow me every single day, every single trading day. I'll be going through daily news, of course, with market updates. On Fridays, I actually go through my weekly trades and such. On Wednesday and Saturdays, I actually upload weekly videos depending on what the market situation is on the day. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.